that in the entire history of our yogic tradition, this has been the central theme to it. And whether it's yoga or whether you look at Bhagavad Gita, all of these texts are trying to talk about this central theme, and that is how to have stable emotions. So managing emotions is like one of the skills that a lot of people still do not know. So just I'll just categorize or give a structured format to your question. Personally, I feel that there are around 5 to 6 reasons that people are not able to handle the emotions and the stress that these uncontrolled emotions cause. And one of the leading reason is that we are living in a dominant default mode, what is normally also understood as an automatic mode, or our conditioning, or the reactive mode in which we are living our lives, which is primarily controlled by the limbic system, or the emotional center of our brain, that's called amygdala. So this is one factor which actually is defining how we react to certain situations or scenarios, or when, like you pointed out, different, if we have a certain kind of expectation and that has not been met, so how we are going to respond to it. That's the reactive mode, and this is the default mode. Now, there is another reason. The second point is lower level of awareness amongst us. Now, this level of awareness, it works at different levels. Primarily here, we are talking about awareness of our thoughts and emotions. So that is one of the leading causes that we are not able to handle our emotional issues. That we ourselves are so clinged or so associated or attached to that particular emotion, that the difference between us, what we are really, and the emotion that is not there. So this lower level of awareness at the thought and emotion level is also one of the causes that we are not able to handle our emotions. Now, this lower awareness levels also works at in a different format. That these issues of emotions, when we see that something has not been done, or what we are expecting has not been happening, so the constant or the regular reaction is that we get angry about it. We slowly start feeling unhappy and sad about it. Now, these emotional issues are actually settling down in our mind and body slowly and slowly, layer by layer. It is just like a mountain rose out of the sea. That layers of sand got settled one after the other, and after a long time, a mountain came out of the sea. So similarly, all these emotional issues and stress, these are settling in our mind and body slowly, slowly, and we do not know that after how many months or years this will surface, and this will surface into a serious mental health issue or a physical issue in the form of the psychosomatic diseases that you mentioned. So this is the second reason that I see that people are not able to handle the emotions. Now, one very important reason is that a lack of training and skills. Now we see that since our childhood, the entire education system and the parenting, we have been, at least from my generation, I can talk that we have been seeing that the parents and teachers, they want the students to and the children to perform well in the education, get marks, get into the competitive exams, and this is the entire spectrum of education that is more focused on material gains, on success in the material world. But and that is nothing wrong about it, that is perfectly correct. But all the training that has been imparted and the skills that has been imparted only is helpful in achieving this. Another level of skill and training is required for managing our internal self. So internal self, we are talking about here emotions, and that is the root cause of a lot of problems. So that level of skill and training has not been imparted. So one simple example, if you see, all of us can relate to it. That we were when we were kids or when we were growing up, we were let's suppose the child gets angry, and we were told that do not get angry, do not get angry. But nobody told or nobody taught us how not to be angry, or how not to be upset. So what has to be done? The do's were told as commandments, but the process or how was never emphasized upon. So that is one of the reasons that people are, as adults, we are still not able to manage our emotion. Now, there is a subset of this, and that is another reason that I understand is the lack of inner experience when we were growing up in young adulthood. And with the inner experience that I'm talking about is a different level of happiness and joy that comes when we practice yoga and when we are quite young. Now, important thing is when we are quite young, uh, we are still not conditions, or we have still not become concrete to a level. A person when he is around 30 years or 40 years of age, when the entire psyche sets in, the entire thought process and attitude and everything gets built up. So in the young age, the person is still connected to the that kind of inner happiness and joy. And when these practices have not been introduced in the young age, so this experience of inner peace and calm, that person has not got in the memory. So if we see that whenever we feel sad, or whenever we look back in our memories, in our histories, we recall those moments which are the happy moment or the joy moment, like the moment of falling in love, or the moment of having a child, or playing with a child, things like that, and we recall those moments. So these are also like boosting factors or triggering factor that tell us that this is a good experience. This activity has got brought in a better experience, and that is what motivates us to perform it more, and further we can get rid of the issues that these emotions caused. Now, there is another reason which I see is even if we provide skills and training and all the other points that I mentioned, there's lack of will to practice, because whatever we are today, we are a result of the constant practice that we have undergone at the level of our mind, at the level of our daily lifestyle, or reacting to different situations. That is our entire neural circuitry has got built up. So that is the kind of conditioning. Now, if we do not have the will to practice and work towards inner transformation, we will never get into the position of being able to manage emotions. So this was the fifth point that I think is one of the causes that we are not able to handle our emotional issues. Another issue that I think is like you had touched upon this in when you're saying that stress is the normal, stress is the new normal that we perceive. Okay, so we, a lot of us have not seen in our own lives, or we lack a live example, a role model in our life, in our family, in our friend circle, in the people we interact with, who are living by example, by their constant practice, that they are internally happy on their own, and they are able to manage their emotions, and the emotional intelligence level is quite high. When they have to deal with different situations, they deal it in a particular way without getting too much upset about it, or without getting into too much worry about it. So this entire issue of psychosomatic disorders that shows up after a long practice of not being able to handle emotional turmoils, these people can somehow avoid it, or these people can manage it even if it happens. So having a living role model or a life example, the lack of it is also one of the reasons that we don't get inspired to work towards achieving this kind of issues, managing these emotional issues. So this was, I think, what I understand, what I see is one of the causes. Now, we also know that there are a lot of research that is happening these days about what are the solutions for managing mental health issues. Now, since we are born in India, we are brought up in India, we have been in touch with all this ancient knowledge. The yoga is the original, mind sciences, as we understand, and as has been very well explained in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras itself. So this one solution, one